My story: I had been seeing a girl for 3 years and it was wonderful. I couldn't believe I had found someone so perfect for me. We were living together for most of this time, but we ended up being apart for a half of a year toward the end for reasons unrelated to the relationship. Despite her being in a different state, things were still as good as ever. We made a few trips to see one another, and I thought that things were actually building up, the relationship was getting better and better. Then there was a period for a few months where she seemed to become distant. I feared the worst but assumed I was being paranoid. This girl was far too emotionally connected to me for there to be anything else going on. So I thought. I decided that I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I let this slip away over something so silly as the distance between us. Even thinking that it could somehow evaporate seemed silly, we were just way too close. I acted out of paranoia nevertheless. I called her and told her I wanted her to move back and move back in with me, and that I couldn't stand for us to be apart any longer, and that I felt us drifting. I can't explain how horrible the following moment was. I had never heard her so sad. She was mortified and I could tell. Before she said anything, she told me I'd hang up and never speak to her again. I told her that wasn't going to happen. Maybe that prepared me. At that point I assumed cheating, but in the back of my head I was thinking she had maybe gotten a disease or something. It was in her wording, I spoiled everything forever or something like that. It felt like an eternity. I was waiting for her to tell me she had HIV. That's when she told me that she was months into a pregnancy that wasn't my doing. My heart sunk. I knew that the entire future we had always planned was gone. I told her everything would be fine and that I loved her, and that accidents happen. I asked for just a few details. How far along she was, and if she was being healthy. I then told her not to worry, she'd hear from me again, but that I had to go. Afterward, I went back and looked at our phone and email history to try and pinpoint the day that she did this. Assuming it was only once and with one person, the worst part was that she cheated on me when everything seemed fine. We had talked that day and had a hilarious chain of emails. It was such betrayal. Believe me, it hurt. The seriousness of a pregnancy too. This wasn't just a blowjob. She was carrying some other guy's kid. Like what was my dream was merely some other asshole's accident. After all this time, I still can't avoid crying when talking about the details of it. When I called her back, I told her she was forgiven. I was honest and told her that I was hurt and that I can't trust her anymore, but I wasn't cruel. She knew how hurt I was, but I think she was hurting much worse. Both of our dreams were shattered, but at least I didn't need to live with thinking it was my fault. I'll admit I had some horrible feelings and thought about some horrible things I'd like to say, but I just had no desire to be vengeful. When you love someone, you don't want revenge, you want understanding. I was just sad. This all happened a few years ago. For the sake of brevity, I'll sum this up by saying she had her baby and he is wonderful. I stayed with her as a friend through the entire ordeal. We are still close friends today. I am so happy that I didn't react harshly. She and I are not together, that trust is broken. However, I retained a friend, had a great life lesson, as did she. I also got to practice love when it wasn't easy. Though it makes me sad to think about the details of this event, I'm very happy that I still have this person in my life. I'm very happy I wasn't mean to her when she was at her lowest point. I'd regret that today. Edit. This is the one comment I will respond to, because I feel there needs to be some context. The moment she told me this information, it was over. She knew it and I knew it. The conversation was not going to be about hurt feelings and bruised egos, because now I was talking to someone who was pregnant with a child. I talked to her the way I would talk to any friend who was in a similar kind of crisis. It wasn't about me or us. It was about her and the baby. The worst thing I could have done was make her have any resentment around her pregnancy. It was important for the sake of this baby that from the get-go there were no hard feelings involving his existence. Furthermore, she was already beating herself up really badly, like really badly. I was worried. Even a half-hearted cry for help kind of event could have been detrimental to the health of the baby. She needed not to hear she was forgiven, but hear the words that would be said if she really was forgiven. She needed to be given a little grace. No, she never said anything to hint she would hurt herself either, and she never held me emotionally captive. Once she was stable, I removed myself from the situation until after the pregnancy was over, and she was fine with that. She never played any mind tricks. I'm not a doormat, though I really don't take offense to being called one in this case. She turned into a desperate friend at that moment, so I had to respond accordingly. Protecting my pride was the last thing I was concerned about. I knew she was in a worse place, so it was my choice to do my part in making sure she and the baby got through this okay. I'm a strong person and I recovered just fine. My little brother gets walked all over by meaningless women because his life is controlled by his penis. There are other people in this thread who have taken the girl back. I know doormats. I'm no doormat. Someone also said I'm being taken advantage of. I promise you I'm not. At least no more than any friendship is a pair of people taking advantage of each other. I quickly drew boundaries. Yes, her and I are friends, but I've since moved on and I've been in a few relationships that have been normal and healthy. Despite getting a bit sad when retelling the story, it's really not much of a big deal at all anymore. I wouldn't even be able to guess in what way I'm being taken advantage of. No more replies from me. Thanks everyone. I've loved reading your comments, and I still am. In case it isn't completely clear, I am not in a relationship with this girl anymore. There seem to be a lot of commenters that missed that. Also, I fixed the word here to here. Sorry. Comment 1. Here are my words of wisdom. I've observed a lot of confusion, in my own life and the lives of others, from this error. Never confuse forgiveness and reconciliation. Never. Forgiveness is for the benefit of someone who's been hurt or wronged, it's not for the benefit of the abuser, perpetrator, cheater or any other jerk. Forgiveness is to help someone let go of the pain and resentment they feel, and rightly so, after being hurt. It's normal to feel pain after offense or betrayal, but wallowing in anger is destructive. Since forgiveness is for the wronged person, the betrayer has no right to ask for, or expect it. I hate when people are selfish or hurtful, then try to use guilt to attempt forcing others into forgiveness. We can forgive as the first step towards reconciling, that is, as the first step towards repairing a broken relationship. Or we can forgive as a way to end a relationship. I forgive you. Goodbye. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget, doesn't mean the slate's wiped clean, doesn't mean we pretend everything's okie dokie, doesn't mean we automatically trust someone who has betrayed or hurt us. Comment 2. Weak. If you truly loved her and wanted to be with her, you would have baby hammer smashed her stomach and drug her into your cave to stay forever. After tying her to your bedroom door, cave boulder, you would have sniffed out the man holding the sperm which penetrated your woman. You would have then taken a Dremel to his skull and ate his brains, to then later throw up on your woman during time. You don't forgive girls for shit like this, I don't care who you are. Sure, you can wish them well. After you call them a slut. Comment 3. I have been on practically every end of the spectrum. I have cheated, I have been cheated on and I have been the person cheated with. It is not something I'm proud of, it is simply fact. I was never forgiven for the cheating, she broke up with me and I never held it against her. I forgave my current girlfriend when she cheated on me because I understood her situation. It wasn't just ducking some other dude, it was a huge mess involved. Granted, if she did it again, I would have a much more serious discussion on it. I don't believe in revenge. I don't believe in being an asshole to get back at someone. I've been down that road, and it only leads to more trouble. Yes, you can be hurt by the one you love, yes you feel disgusting and sick. But you don't stay that way. And letting someone take over your emotions like that will only make you worse. Comment 4. May. He went on a trip with work, and when he comes home and gets drunk with our friends and I, suddenly he starts bragging about the whore he ducked in Poland. And how he was so disgusting, smelly and drunk the whore wouldn't even touch him before he took a shower. I got pissed, but played it off, laughed and told him ducking disgusting he must have been for a East European truck stop whore to turn him down. He got pissed at me for being a possessive bitch and defended the personality of the whore as a sympathetic lady with children. Great. Around this point I gave up any expectations of human faithfulness. I have since grown up and recognized the human as a polygamous being, striving to be monogamous but only hurting itself and loved ones while striving to achieve the impossible. This same disgusting ass has now been my duck buddy for 10 years. Solve the problem. No jealousy, no daily routine, we have since grown up, no excuse really, but he was only 20 at the time of the offense, and we were all pretty dumb then, and are still friends. We have loyalty to each other and so far we have kept returning to each other. I claim no ownership, realize long-term faithfulness is a utopian fantasy, and accept it. And I can have all the fun I want on the side as well. Whether or not we take advantage of this freedom? Actually not really. We are happy with what we have, for now at least. It's all good. Comment 5. Similar thing happened to a good friend of mine. He married his girlfriend of 7 to 8 years, they were college sweethearts, before this they were separated by distance for about 2 years or so. Long story short, after marrying her and moving in together with her, he found out that she's been cheating on him in the last year. She ended up getting pregnant by this guy. In the end, He forgave her and even thought of taking the responsibility the other guy won't take, yes, being a father to the baby. To this day, I don't know why he thought of that. I guess he truly loves her. They are not together anymore. He met someone else better after being single for a while. He is still friends with his ex. Comment 6. I think that you did an amazing thing by committing to a relationship with her, albeit non-entitledparents, after such devastating news. I also applaud the incentive to share stories of heartbreak that don't end with fake rings and lakes and petty revenge. However, I think that there needs to be an understand that a majority of these revenge stories are born out of relationships that don't last, relatively, long. Because the relationships are so brief, a true connection can't be had, and the entire relationship ends up being based off of time. So, when that commitment is broken, there's little to fall back on. If they don't know or trust the other person entirely, I think revenge is almost unavoidable, and almost warranted. Your relationship of 3+ years has undoubtedly moved on to a more mature stage that's built on character, and not just time. So, when the devastating news of infidelity is out, you have something to fall back on. You know her as a person. Maybe not completely, but enough to know that she needed your help and friendship in a time of need. I have to admit that sometimes, I love reading terrible revenge stories. It's like reading a $2 romance novel on a short plane ride. Comment 7. I caught my ex, 15-year relationship, bragging to her friends on MSN that she was cheating on me. We've been here before but we're not 18 anymore, we're in our 30s. I ask her if there's anything she would like to tell me, she says there isn't, I confront her, she denies it, I go to her with evidence. The denying stops. I was ready to kick her out of the house, not just for the cheating itself but for not coming clean when I gave her the chance, but she was so sad and begged so bad I just couldn't do it. I knew this relationship was over right there and then, but she kept asking we try to get over it. I just couldn't trust her at all. I was heavily regulating time or avoiding it, knowing she would try to get pregnant if I wasn't vigilant, so about a year and a half later she starts busting my balls about having kids, so I go ahead and remind her that she is a backstabbing bitch and there is no way in hell I'm having kids with her, so now she left and everyone is happy. Well, I am. The end. Forgive, sure. Forget, no is easy. Comment 8. When I read and forgave her I though that meant that you stayed with her after she cheated on you. I also assumed that all the people responding critically to the first story were trying to say that he shouldn't have broken up with the girl. I guess that was all wrong. People actually care how big of a dick you are when you break up with a girl who cheated on you? The point is you dump her, how big of a dick you are is just what makes it an entertaining story. Now I feel like a lot of people just like to argue for no reason. Comment 9. It's great that you were able to go that direction with the situation and are happy with your choice. The problem is, not everyone is like you. Everyone is different. We are all individuals and because of that, people handle the same situation differently. This is why I can't understand why everyone is giving the other guy so much grief. He handled it in his own way. It brought him the closure he needed. He may have not handled in the best way, but he handled it in the way he needed to. But of course, since it's not the Reddit way, people acted like he just tried to butt-duck Jesus. It's sad that as a community, we can't accept different views and actions. If an opinion happens to differ from the majority, it's a social snafu and woe to the person that committed the crime. I saw quite a few posts in the other guy's topic talking about how it was people like him that was causing the downfall of Reddit. Seems to me the trouble with the site is the overabundance of the overly judgmental. Comment 10. I think it is the expectation of perfect monogamy that is the real heartbreak. I love the story of the Dogon tribe in Africa that have a perfect social order for this sort of thing. There are two kinds of marriage. One kind of marriage is arranged at birth and here is where you have your family. The tribe depends upon this marriage and neither the man, nor the woman, can leave it. However, both the man and the woman are welcome to have what are interpreted as passion marriages. And both the man and the woman can have as many passion marriages as they wish. The wisdom of this say it is better not to, but the dependency of the family marriage in the same house is passion, for human love and passion is too elusive and unpredictable to use it to raise a family. Thanks you for watching. Everyday new movies. See you soon.